The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
Hey! Who are you people? What do you want from me?
We want the numbers, Mason. That's all we've ever wanted.
The numbers? What are they saying?
0, 0, 1, 3, 5.
That's all we've ever wanted.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those that don't know me, my name is Brock and I review root beers, so you can call me RootBeerBrock. And today on this episode, we are going to get down to it. We are going to find out, what do the numbers mean, Mason? What do the numbers mean? Today we are going to be trying Mason's root beer. Now, Mason's root beer was founded by Alex Mason during the Cold War era, where he worked for the CIA and was a U.S. soldier who went out on the front lines, and he went on the craziest of missions you can think of when it comes to military and all that stuff. Because of all the crazy stuff that he witnessed when he was on these missions, Alex Mason started hallucinate these red numbers in his vision, like they were just floating around his eyesight. The CIA actually ended up kidnapping Alex Mason and interrogating him and trying to get down to the bottom of what the numbers meant. They were chemistry equations for a recipe of root beer. And so that's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. We got a chemistry equation for one of the greatest root beers of all time. Allegedly. Okay, I'm sorry. I made that all up. That is just the lore of one of my favorite video games, Call of Duty Black Ops, mixed with some root beer. So, I hope y'all enjoy that. Time to actually talk about the real Mason's root beer. There's not much history, and it's not as cool as my fanfic that I just made up. The real Mason's root beer was actually started in 1947 by the Mason & Mason Incorporated Soda Company. It was started in Chicago, Illinois, and it was just very popular throughout the Midwest, which is what you'll see through most of these root beers. There's my dog. But that's what you'll see through most of these root beers, is that there are a lot of popularity throughout the Midwest. So definitely the Midwest is the most popular region for root beer when it comes to the whole world. This is no exception. It was created in Chicago, Illinois, and you know how I feel about Chicago. I love Chicago. Dad's root beer was also started in Chicago. So, yeah, we got quite a few different root beers that came up out of Chicago. And so, this has a lot of potential being a good root beer. Real quick, before I get going, I want to thank you guys so much on the support on the last few videos. And the comments that y'all have been sending me are so nice and amazing. Thank you guys so much for that. And if you could, just hit a like on this video and subscribe. And if you haven't already, go ahead and share this video with your friends. And without further ado, let's waste no more time and find out what these numbers mean, Mason. Is Mason's root beer the best root beer of all time? Let's break out the glass. Alright, so I got the glass, and here we go. Going to grab the Double Tap Root Beer coaster, which this is a Call of Duty Black Ops reference. So, yeah, which Alex Mason wasn't involved in this part because it's the zombies mode, but I digress. So here we go. We got Mason's root beer right here. Let me focus on that. As you can see on there, oh my gosh, it ain't focusing quite how I want it to. It says keg brewed. So, that's really interesting. It seems like this root beer is one of those, like, stereotypical, like, how you see root beer, like, in the root beer barrels and stuff. So this is going to be in a keg. But yeah, so I love this whole traditional, like, keg brewed thing. I really like that aspect of it, so I'm really excited to try this. And one thing I forgot to mention about Mason's root beer is they may have started in Chicago, Illinois, but they also have a drive-in that's still open in Washington, Indiana. So if you've ever been there, if you've ever drank Mason's yourself, or you've eaten at the drive-in, go ahead and comment down below and tell me what you thought of it. But all right, let's go ahead and crack it open. All right, Mason. What do the numbers mean? Let's go in. Oh, wow. That's a very interesting flavor. I probably say that with every root beer I have. I apologize. Right off the bat, this tastes very earthy. A lot more earthy than I was expecting it to. I was expecting it to taste a little bit more creamy. But yeah, let's go in again. I really like that. That's good. That's a really good root beer. I like this. You can definitely tell how that everything that's in this root beer is very subtle, and that's what I like about it. Like, you got the earthy flavors to it, which is very subtle, and then the sweetness comes in, and it's also very subtle. Nothing is just like punching you in the face, which is very cool. I like that. I can definitely see them numbers brewing right now. They're just everywhere right now. And I apologize if any of y'all are like, what in the world do you mean by the numbers, and who the heck is Alex Mason? Well, I apologize. Alex Mason, if you don't know who that is, it's the main protagonist in one of the greatest video games of all time, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. And he's kind of the main protagonist of Black Ops 2, but in Cold War, I guess. Anyways, this guy, Mason, cool dude. Really cool dude. Gotta go and play the OG Call of Duty Black Ops series if you haven't. Comment down below if y'all play video games. What video games are your favorite video games? If you've ever played Call of Duty Black Ops 1 or 2 or any of the Call of Duties, let me know what your favorite one is and what you like about the series, or what you like about whatever video game you play. But yeah, this root beer is really nice. The only thing that I'll say that I am not really liking about the root beer is the logo is the whole design of the logo and everything's kind of bland. It's kind of meh. I don't really care for it that much. It's kind of just like it's like a weird yellow, and I guess it's like old school. Like you can definitely see this like being from the 40s or something. It kind of just like kept its original style, and it never grew out of it. Which I guess there's nothing wrong with that. It's simple, but it's just not exciting compared to some of the other root beer designs that I've seen. Also, guys, speaking of video games, I'm thinking about starting a separate channel where I am gaming. Comment down below what games you would like to see me play. I'm thinking about either playing some Call of Duty or even Fortnite. Those are two of my favorite games right now. Or even Red Dead Redemption 2. Really love that game because I like my root beer and I'm kind of a cowboy, if you know what I mean. So just comment down below if you think that's a good idea, if I should start that. I think I'm going to go ahead and rate this root beer. I think I got a good glimpse in my head to what the numbers mean. I have set Mason down in an interrogation chair, and I have just gotten down to the truth of what does it all mean. And I absolutely love what Mason's root beer does. It takes all these different aspects of root beer that people really like of root beer that I feel like. I think it kind of is like it's a very diverse root beer, if that makes sense. It kind of takes a little bit of the earthy flavors that people like of root beer, like a Virgil's or a Bundaberg, which I know a lot of people aren't fans of Bundaberg, but it does a good job at being an earthy root beer, if that makes sense. A little too earthy, but yeah. So Mason's does a good job of showing that earthy side of root beer. And it also does a good job of showing the other way of root beer, the more creamy and sweet side as well. I think this root beer does a very good job of combining those two flavors that make people love root beer. It's like you just search for it and you find your own answer to it, just like the numbers. And that's what I really like about Mason's root beer here. This is my first time ever trying this root beer, and I really have never heard of it before until I picked it up at one of my local stores, which was in Atwoods, of all places. But yeah, it's a good root beer, and I think I'm going to give this root beer an 8 out of 10. I like what it does. I don't think it completely knocks your socks off when it comes to a root beer, but I just love this perfect blend that it has to offer for both fans of root beer. So I would highly recommend Mason's root beer to everyone that likes root beer. But as I go in for the final sip, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and it means the world all the support you all have been giving me on the last few videos, and I appreciate it with all my heart. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a RootBeerBrock video. Here we go, final sip. And with that, I like to say, good job. Let's go home.